Hello, and welcome back to Mimosa and Chill. This is your host, Shannon O'Brien. For this episode, I am joined by my friends LaNise and Clint. Our topic is about cancel culture and how its influence impacts our personal relationships. Please sit back and absorb our perspectives as we delve candidly into the subject.
What I was going to talk, what I want to talk about tonight is cancel culture. Okay, so we've been seeing all these people, in the like Sharon Osbourne. You know, I heard she just quit today because of her comments on the talk.
Right.
Then you had Gary Owens. Did you see his wife did a rant on social media because she felt he was cheating with a friend of Claudia Jordan's? You guys see that one?
I didn't see
Every
that.
day.
Well,
Every
I
day
saw-
people are, I think I sent you something, Clint. Did I send you
Yes.
something about it? Yeah, so it's like
Yeah.
we started talking about cancel culture because it just seems like ever since social justice, the movement started, more people have been getting canceled. So I'm going to take a different spin on it. I'm not going to ask you about other people's cancellations. I read an article that says because of cancel culture, we're actually starting to feel more comfortable canceling people in real life, in real time, because it's become this trend now that's kind of switching over into our personal lives. So I'm going to ask you about cancel culture and how it's impacted you personally. That's what our conversation is going to be about tonight. So you be honest and free.
Okay.
It's going to be edited. We're going to try to stay under 30 minutes because when Jason uploads the material, to put on YouTube, it takes forever. He told me the longer I go, the longer it takes him to do all the editing and the upload. So we're going to try to stay within 30 minutes and he'll keep me on schedule. Okay. So I kind of want him to go away.
Okay.
You don't want anybody hovering over you talking about 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Yeah, I'm canceling you for now. All right. So I came up with some with questions, and I actually ran them by my son and my husband just to make sure these are questions that you guys will feel comfortable answering. Okay.
Okay.
Let me fix my hair. Oh, I'm gonna do the intro separately. I don't like that little strand. Okay. See, I gotta get used to this Zoom stuff. Okay, here we go. All right.
Oh, good.
All right, okay. Now, I have a bunch of questions. First thing I'm going to do is describe cancel culture in 3 different categories for you guys.
Okay.
And then you have to tell me which category best describes your cancel culture behavior. Okay, so first let me set the premise. Have you ever had to cancel somebody? Yes, everybody's had to cancel, right? You've had to cancel people.
Yes.
Okay, so now that we know we have officially canceled people, now I'm going to ask you what your cancel culture style is. Okay, here are my 3 choices. The first one is a person that's a stealth canceler. Do you know what a stealth canceler is? That means that you are so smooth in canceling the person, they don't even know they've been canceled. Okay, that's a
Yeah.
They cancel. They say, Shannon, have you seen LaNise? How she been doing, girl? And I'm thinking, don't you know she canceled you? Okay, that's a stealth cancel. The person doesn't even know. I mean, that's how smooth you were in the cancellation.
Okay.
Your second option is a blindsided canceler. This means that you let the person go unchecked for so long that they still don't know why they got canceled. They got canceled and don't understand what happened. Okay, that's the second one. The third one, and here's your last one. The third option is a heat of the moment canceler. This means you suddenly realize that cancellation is inevitable. So you go all in with the cancellation ceremony. Now, which one are you? Are you stealth? Are you blindsided? Or are you heat of the moment cancel person?
I think for me, I'm the first 2.
Okay. Give me an example of when you stealth canceled. You don't have to mention names. Just tell me the person's rank.
They are a person on my husband's side of the family.
Okay.
I just very politely just unfriended them on social media.
Okay.
And realized that, you know what? I don't even have to drive that way.
Okay.
It's been mentioned. I don't see nothing she posts on Facebook no more.
Because you got canceled. Okay, so then let me ask you this. Do we have certain, before Clint tells me his cancel method, do we have certain types of cancellations that we apply? Like maybe she did a stealth because it was family, but if it had been a friend, it would have been a heat of the moment? Or are you consistent pretty much across the board, whoever gets canceled, it's gonna be the same?
I
Stealth,
think for me, it'll be the same because I don't
okay,
like confrontation and I don't like to argue, and I'm not in a heat of the moment type of person.
okay,
When I feel the heat rising, I excuse myself anyway because
right.
I don't even want to go there with nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and then usually the next day, calmer heads prevail. The feelings are in yesterday. So at that moment, I can reflect and just be like, yeah, I don't need that in my life.
Okay, so you're a thought out cancel person. You
Yeah.
don't cancel people in haste.
No.
It's took some, so that person, if they got canceled, it was legitimate. It was a legitimate cancellation. Okay, Clint, we're gonna go to you. Which one is yours? Stealth, blindsided, or heat of the moment?
Honestly, I've used all three.
Oh, wow. Okay. Was it based on the person? Was it based on the
Yeah,
person?
it's more or less based on the situation.
Okay, the offense that was committed. Okay.
Right. It was based on the situation. Well, yeah, I won't mention any names, but I could give you an example of each situation.
Give me how this worked out with the cancellation.
Okay, so this one person. Okay. I have to admit it was based on, I guess, more or less political views. It was based on,
Yes,
because this person is a Black Republican. And he didn't see anything wrong with Trump, no matter what we said. And it was just, what?
Right.
So he was the one where it was like, I guess he fit the second example where you were saying
Blindsided. He didn't know why.
Right, he didn't know, and all of a sudden he just realized he must have realized we weren't responding. My wife or I wasn't responding. so see, he fit that category. Oh yeah.
Right. Now I guess I should share. Let's see. Clint probably knows I cancel people like every day.
Probably. Okay.
So please see me cancel people. I cancel people on social media, like what happened with you. I cancel friends. I cancel. I think. Maybe I'm one of these people in the article. I need to stop being so quick, like LaNise said. Think about it before you cancel people. I think I'm more of a. I'm either going to be a stealth person, like you're canceled, like the first example where they didn't know they were canceled. I made a decision and I didn't talk it over with them, or I'm probably a heat of the moment cancellation. Like something went down and then I go back and tell, guess what happened? It's a big heat of the moment cancellation. So that's my style. Now I have to ask you, is there anyone in your life, now let's think for a minute, that is cancel proof, meaning the person cannot be canceled no matter what they do? They can rob a bank, they can pistol whip you, you just can't cancel.
Oh, wow.
Who are your cancel proof people?
Ooh, that's a hard one.
I mean, there's nothing they just can't be canceled.
I would say it's my child, but I don't know. She gets on my nerves sometimes. And you already know. Yeah, I think. You know who I'm talking about, right?
Right. This is my thing at this point. With my kids, they know I love them, but I didn't raise them. Last one. Look, what I do now is because I want to, not because I have to. Don't make me listen to everybody else.
Have you ever tried to cancel a child? Have you ever tried and just couldn't because they're cancel proof?
Well, you know what?
Now that's true.
I've never canceled my kids, but I feel that the older I get, the less understanding I have, because got doggone better. I can't talk this damn thing.
I told you.
You know better.
Right.
So it's like I can't, I feel like I can't cancel my brother or my sister.
Okay.
No matter what they do,
you can't cancel a sibling.
I can't.
But what about the kids? Wait a minute. How many kids do you have?
I have 3.
You can possibly cancel one of the children, but you can't cancel the sibling. So siblings have higher rank.
Yeah, because
Okay.
you know what? They was here before the kids.
So you're thinking of a Kirk Franklin episode. Have you ever had one of these Kirk Franklin episodes? That's why people are on cancellation probation. I'm trying.
Yeah. I mean, even with my daughter. I mean, Clint know a lot of the stuff I've been through with that child.
Oh yes.
So,
I've been through it with her too. So I know. So I know.
Yeah, so I think for me, Shannon, when it comes to my kids, I think over time I have actually built up some sort of a resistance.
Yeah.
You don't get a pass because you're my kid.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't get to stress me into a bad situation just because you're my child.
Right.
And
well,
I
tried to cancel my son. It did, and he tried to cancel me. This went on for years. And, I mean, because and a lot of it was heat of the moment cancel. Like I said some stuff, Kirk Franklin ain't got nothing on me. That's all I want to.
Oh wow!
I said stuff right now. My son still repeats. Do you know you called me a bitch ass? Blah blah. I said, really? That's interesting.
Okay.
I didn't take anything back because I remember what led up to the.
Hey, thank you.
So he was looking for me to have a soft moment. I was thinking, yeah, but I can't cancel him for some reason. That's just the thing. I can't, even though we've had it out like that. I realize he's just cancel proof. Probably plus he's an only child. That could be why he's so cancel proof. But yeah, I know my son's cancel proof. What about your husband, spouses? Are they cancel proof?
Ooh, from time to time.
After COVID-19, people are like, I'm reevaluating.
Yeah. You know what? That is so funny because you have to admit, yes, those times that you spent away. Because if somebody, let me backtrack and just say this. Somebody once said it's hard being married because when you're married, you're fitting 2 personalities together. Under a roof. And it's kind of like, you have to have those breaks. You have to have those breaks by going to work, by doing other stuff. I
agree.
Yes. Oh my God. I didn't realize how much, and this person said this years ago, and I didn't realize how important that was. And you do realize that the amount of divorces are up. I mean, substantially, because people had to live together. They had to literally live together.
Right. And nobody went to work and came home and you had a little break and
you need that occasional break.
Yeah.
You definitely do. But no, I would say right now it takes longer to heal. Let's just say that because you have nowhere to go. You have nowhere to go.
So we don't know yet if spouses are cancel proof. I can make it easy for you because I made a decision.
Okay.
Jason as a human being, to me, is cancel proof.
Okay.
The marriage is not cancel proof. The marriage is not cancel proof. Jason is cancel proof. Make sense?
Yeah.
The marriage is a separate entity. The marriage is a separate entity. Okay, that's an institution that comes with rules, laws, documents. That can be canceled. Contracts can be canceled. You can get out of a contract.
Okay.
The person himself is cancel proof. Meaning I know that person will always be in my life no matter what. Right. It doesn't necessarily have to be in a marriage situation. Right. So the marriage is not cancel proof. Jason is cancel proof.
I like how you put that. Well, if you qualify it like that, then yeah, I would have to admit my siblings and everybody. Yeah, I would go along with that with pretty much all of my family members. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I got family members that have been canceled. Some of them are stealth canceled.
I only have one.
I'm talking real up close, not no third, fourth cousin. I'm talking right up in their DNA.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that as we get older, we just realize we don't have a lot of time for the stuff we tolerated 20 years ago.
Yes.
Stuff that you were kind of groomed and indoctrinated to tolerate. You don't have to tolerate it anymore.
Yes.
It feels cold at first, like, oh, you would cut your own so-and-so off. That means if you have to earn cancellation. It's not like I'm just randomly pulling names out of a hat and canceling people. Right. You have to have done something to earn that cancellation. Right. So I just made a decision that for my own mental sanity, some people have to go. and I don't know if you're canceled, if you get to come back, or how many chances you get to have. But I have learned something though. If you don't want, here's the thing, if you cancel a certain person, before you make the cancellation, you have to know who goes with that person. That's okay, like true. I canceled a cousin, but I lost a whole group of cousins because I canceled that cousin.
Really?
Yeah, that whole group.
Were they just loyal to their cousin?
That's their sister, that's their, you know what I'm saying? That's a whole group, that's a whole family entity. So even though I canceled her, I didn't anticipate the ripple effect of how everybody's going with her. That group, that segment. Right. But again, isn't that loyal? Was that just loyalty to her? Right. I mean, if you cancel Jason, then you canceled me. You see what I'm saying? Everybody has a group with them.
Right.
So I learned that when you do cancel, one of the things that maybe keeps some of us from canceling is because we know a certain group is going with the canceled person. You know, have you ever put up with an in-law because you knew who you were canceling when you canceled that person? Right. And
you don't treat them as a separate entity. So they're not a separate entity.
No, that's a human being that comes with I guess you can call that little group an entity in and of itself. But you just have to know when you're canceling people, some people could go with the cancellation.
Well, no, I get it. But, and you know what? Funny situation. Now, again, this is dealing on a teaching level. There was a kid that basically was a kind of a knucklehead. He was a knucklehead. And his mom and I got to be good friends because she sat in my room for a year to get him through my class.
That's right.
And that's the only way this kid passed my class. Because she was there. So we got to be friends because of course she was an adult. She understood things on an adult level. So here, cut to the chase. After he graduated, this was just literally, I think about 2 years ago. After he graduated, he reached out to me on Facebook and I never replied or responded back. Okay.
Oh, wow.
I was cool with mom, but mom and I are cool on Facebook.
Okay. So he got stealth canceled.
Correct.
Mother didn't get canceled.
Correct. But I noticed she changed her behavior.
Oh, she went with the group. That's what happened.
Right. When I didn't add him, I noticed she hasn't necessarily been in touch with me because I didn't add him.
Right.
So that fits, I guess, that example of
that's a good example, because think about it, Clint. If somebody canceled your daughter, you probably have to go with the daughter's team.
But then I think it depends on the nature too, because I could be friends or social media friends with an adult, but it don't necessarily mean I want to be social media friends with.
Exactly. Thank you.
Like, and that's some things you might. Yeah. You don't want kids knowing your. Yeah.
It just depends. I know even with me, with family members, I'm not friends on social media with any children.
That's a good point. I don't have kids in my social media either.
I just don't, so these little young cousins and nephews and stuff like that, if they're not like adults, I'm not friends with them. Like, I'm just not, I don't have it to do.
So that's not canceled. That's just you want to make sure that you're not saying things that they don't need to know.
No, it's not even that. I just don't want to be friends with children.
And see, and I can
not that complicated.
LaNise, I can relate to that because, believe it or not, I had like I think it was a 2 to 3 year rule when kids would always reach out to me
Yeah,
on Facebook after they
yeah.
graduated. It'd be like, hey, Mr. Ward, now that I graduated, I want to keep in touch. And be like, look, I don't put nobody on till you about 2 or 3 years older.
Right.
That was just my thing.
I feel like those are boundaries. Those are just boundaries. Like,
Correct.
I just don't. I feel like if I got nieces and nephews, I see you at the family functions. I don't want to see you on social media.
Right.
Because now if you're doing something inappropriate, the adult in me is gonna have to check.
Have to say something. That's true.
I got to call your mama or your daddy. I don't feel like dealing with that. So it's just best that we're not friends on social media.
I agree with you. Oh, you know what else I don't do? I know we're digressing, but I just got to throw this in. I do not party with children either. Because the way I party is not like a child.
Okay,
I don't do kid party. I mean, I do. You can ask my son. Every birthday year he had a party. Chuck E. Cheese. One time we even turned up in Vegas. We got Circus. Every kid in the group got a wristband and got on those rides at Circus. I've done all the little arcade places, and so when he finally became an adult, I said, okay, now it's my turn to party, and I don't do Chuck E. Cheese, and I don't want people from Chuck E. Cheese in that party. So I get really annoyed when people invite you to a party and there's little kids in pajamas and it's 10 o'clock at night. And then the song My Bitch Go Loco is playing and the little kids dancing. I can't turn up with a little kid in pajamas listening to Go Loco. Right. So now,
and I agree.
Where's your mother?
I agree. I agree. I totally agree.
That's old school. That is old school all the way, because I know for, my background, the kids, a certain time of night, you go to sleep and you better come out that room, period.
Yeah.
So that parents could party. So, being a city kid, that's what it was.
Yeah.
But, even I can even recall some years ago, my grandmother came for a visit when Lamaya and my niece were much younger. 9:30, they came running down the steps and she like,
Right.
Dealt with y'all long enough. It's time for it's adult time.
Right. Thank you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, I agree.
I feel like it's the way that you're raised, but even now, I had a difficult time when my mother-in-law passed, and everybody raised their children the same way. So we have all these family members that came in from out of town, and the kids wants to sit up with the adults. Like, no, y'all have a whole loft up there.
LaNise, Clint, we're all around the same age. I just remember we didn't want to be around our parents. I was on the porch with my friends. We were riding bikes. We were roller skating.
Right.
Being with your parents was restrictive. These kids really hover. You're right. It's a whole different group. Okay, but I'm gonna move on to cancel culture. But I'm glad we all agree on that. So next party, we understand. Don't bring kids to my.
Yes.
All right,
I got you. Yes, Shannon. It's a difference.
What do you consider? Now, some of you have already. A couple of you have given some examples. But what do you consider a cancellation-worthy offense? What's something that you can't get out of it? It's just you canceled yourself. There's no going back. Is there a cancellation-worthy offense that's just it's over? There's no going back.
I think any level of just disrespect, you can't recover from that with me.
When you say that, you mean profanity, like cursing you out, or?
No, I mean, you disrespect, me personally, you disrespect my husband, our marriage, you disrespect my children. Those are the top three right there. Like, there's no coming back from that. Like, now you may, if you can correct it, if you recognize it and apologize, and that's fine. I feel like I'm a forgiving person. I just don't forget nothing. So with that, you still cancel.
Right. And I think that too. I think that I have trouble forgiving. I'm not sure if there's some kind of power trip I'm on, but like forgiveness feels like my weapon and I have difficulty relinquishing it. So I feel bad about that part. That's like one of my main weaknesses is being able to forgive somebody when I'm truly wounded. It's really hard. That's something I guess I got to work on. but maybe that's why so many people get canceled in my perimeter. I don't know. But okay, disrespect is yours. What's yours, Clint? What's the one thing that's a cancel-worthy offense you can't bounce back from?
No, I mean, LaNise said it perfectly. I mean, I agree with
Exactly.
everything she said. I guess in terms of the disrespect, and it can come in a lot of different ways. But yeah, being disrespectful, showing me up, I guess, in public, or doing something that, to me, you're right, you can't come back from, because it was maybe a one-time opportunity to do the right thing,
and you
didn't
failed.
do it.
You
And
messed
right,
it
and
up.
you did not do it.
Right.
Because then I'm not going to trust you. So if anything that's just, untrustworthy, I guess. And, like I said, LaNise summed it up perfectly. And family, if you disrespect my family, especially, like I said, doing something, especially a public display of disrespect, I would say then that, something on that level would definitely be, you're out. We're done.
This is for me, oddly enough, and my husband said the same thing when I asked him the question. The first thing that came out of his mouth was racism. I said, that's mine too. If you're a racist, I have to cancel you. I'm not going to educate you or give you some self-help books. I'm done. That's just, I can't. I mean, it's too deep. Too many people have been lynched, and that's all I can think about. Lynchings, murders. So I don't even have room or space for racists.
So do you feel someone's ignorance could be just basically being canceled, would be considered a cancel situation, their ignorance of something?
Depends on the aggression that you bring to your ignorance. If you're an innocent racist, like, I'm from such and such town, and there was 5 people in the town and nobody raised me, things like, if you're an innocent racist, then maybe if you're open and you don't have that aggressive defensive posture where you're trying to defend the right to be a racist, then maybe I can forge some sort of communication.
Right.
But if you have that little, I know what I'm talking about, life's too short. I don't need to rehabilitate you or teach you anything.
And that's how that guy was that I canceled. I got mad and canceled because he was like that. He was just arrogant with it.
Yeah, that you get canceled like that. And I was watching The Bachelor, and he picked that girl, that the girl Rachel, that went to the antebellum Old South parties, and they wore those dresses and had the Confederate flags and blackface, and she was clicking like on other people's pics. And her thing was, okay, I fell in love with a Black man, so in my heart, I'm not racist. I was just ignorant. I went along with my sorority. This is an annual thing that they do. I was 18 years old. And so people were like, well, should the Black Bachelor, give her another chance because they're in love and blah, blah, blah. And she was pouring her little heart out. She said, I've never felt like this. I don't think I'll ever love anybody like this. And she was looking at him like, can you give me another chance? And he didn't. He was very cold. He was very cold. Like, get away from me.
Okay, so do you think she was innocent?
I think that she was like you guys said, maybe ignorant.
Right.
I think she was young too. Being young and ignorant, that's common. I think what surprised me was that even when she said, hey, I'm sorry, I'm going to change, I'm going to do the work, I'm going to educate myself. He said, well, I'm going to give you space to do the work you need to do. That does not involve me. Dang. And he pulled himself away. And I thought, wow. So then people on social media saying, well, did he really love her? So does love prevent people from being canceled? When you have a cancel-worthy offense? Think about it in your personal life, because how long have you been married, LaNise?
7 years.
You've been married how long, Clint?
21.
Okay, I've been married 29. Okay, so everybody here, everybody here has a experience in that area. So, having been on the inside of this institution that a lot of people don't make it, you know what I'm saying? Do you feel that people have committed cancel-worthy offenses, and because you love that person, you forgave the cancel-worthy offense?
Well, I have.
Jason, put your hand down. You're not even on the Zoom call.
Jason, we'll talk, Jason.
In dating,
dating or married. I'm just saying, because I looked at how he looked at her. He was so repulsed when she was, and I thought, but you were in love with this girl. So I mean,
no,
his heart turned cold, you know?
But this is what I'm getting ready to say, since I'm the newlywed of the bunch.
Mm-hmm.
In dating, I have canceled people for far less. Doesn't mean I didn't love them. It just meant I love myself more. Like you said, Shannon, you get to a point in time in life where I don't have time to teach you. If you don't already know, then you just don't know. So I think that you can counsel someone that you love.
Okay.
But I think depending upon the situation, that situation is deep, because if she participated in that, that means that's something that's taught, that's learned behavior, that's something that's probably within her family as well.
That's what I was thinking.
You don't just do something you don't do something like that and you're not familiar with it already.
Right.
You know, so
I thought that too. I did think that too. I thought, okay, what kind of upbringing did she have, or was she just trying to fit in with the sorority? Not, sororities can have a powerful pull. Some people don't have their own independent thinking or leadership. Mm-hmm. So I saw how she kind of really wanted to correct. And so I was in the group arguing with people, of course, because all the people were saying he's wrong. And especially a lot of people that weren't Black didn't understand what the big deal was. Mm-hmm. And I remember saying, why does this young man with his whole life ahead of him, why does he have to pick somebody who needs to be corrected when there are thousands of women who are not like that at all? Mm-hmm. He could just move on. You know what I'm saying? He can move on. Mm-hmm. So, and then one girl responded, she said, well, Black women can be racist too. So if he moves on, I said, I'm glad you said that, because I never said Black woman. I just said, why does he move on to somebody who's not racist? You said Black women. So it lets me know that you basically made my point for me. Okay. So it lets me know how deep.
I have a question about that. How old was she?
She had to probably be in her 20s. Most of the Bachelor fans are in their 20s. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the only example that I have to draw back on is, okay, so as a teacher, I teach 9th grade through 12th. Uh-huh. And there have been times where kids have they have gotten on my last nerve as a 9th grader. Mm-hmm. But see, I take that into account. I expect them to be immature as a 9th grader.
Right.
Now, if they act the same way as a 12th grader, then I'm done with them in terms of that. And so I look at it this way. I can't tell you how many kids I've had as 9th graders that said something or did something that turned me totally off. And I was done with them, but then they came back later and said, hey, Mr. Ward, I was wrong. I was blah, blah, blah. And I forgave them.
Right.
Because it was like, oh, you've matured. So I look at it as that's why I said I need to know how old she was. And if
she was 18 when it happened, I guess she was a freshman. Now she's in her 20s saying, I made a mistake. I'm doing the work. I'm reading the books. I'm getting the counseling. I'm joining subscribing to certain YouTube channels. I'm doing everything I can to hear all these different points of view so I can understand where I went wrong. So that's when she was looking at him like, hey, can I have another chance? He said, you need to do your work. And I don't know. He was callous. He was, not that I'm necessarily sympathetic to her. She needs to do her work, right? And she's beautiful and young and white. So she'll be all right as far as I'm concerned. But I just saw the callousness in his, that cold. And I just thought, that's why I thought about cancel proof. Is there a person that you can love and just not cancel them? That's what I was thinking. That's why I said the marriage. Notice I said the marriage can be canceled, but the relationship can't.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
That's kind of what I mean. Like, it doesn't mean you can cancel the feelings or what the person means to you. You could just cancel the paperwork that's on file at City Hall.
Totally get it.
I think that's what I meant. But Jason wants me to wrap up, so I'm gonna let LaNise make her point before we wrap this up. I'll let her have the last word.
I just think in regards to that situation, had she done her work beforehand, it might have been easier to do that.
Right.
She only did the work because she got called on it.
He did make the point. He said that when he first called her and told her how disturbed he was by it. He said, I didn't understand why I had to actually have a heated conversation with you when I made that call. What he's saying is that you were resistant when I was explaining it. And so he got to see a side of her that he hadn't seen before. And she said it wasn't until he hung up and said it's over that it clicked in her brain, like, this must be something very serious. But he's still going back in his mind to the fact that I had to have this conversation with you. I can't have kids with you. I can't bring you into the situation and build a life with you based on the fact that I had to have this conversation with you, and there was resistance.
Yeah.
So I think maybe he put that wall up because he didn't want to be tempted into falling. Because at one point, the host said, well, do you want to embrace her and say a final goodbye? And she leaned towards him to hug, and he pulled back, like, no.
Dang, okay.
I need to go put that on demand. Watch. I saved it on my DVR. I was just, yeah. All right, you guys. Well, this was a good subject. I hate that we ran out of time. We always run out of time. But LaNise, you're going to come back once you have your dental surgery. We have LaNise on here. Yeah. She tried to wear a mask, but she said, I got too much to say. My tooth in the front has fallen out 50 million times, and it's usually we're in Vegas or somewhere really nice. Want to be cute. I'm in a restaurant.
I am so secure in knowing it's just a temporary thing.
Right.
Like my tooth fell out. Or
but with you have luscious lips that kind of cover it. I don't. So Jason was like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? I'm in a restaurant in Vegas with no tooth in the front.
You know what? It's so crazy.
Vegas weekend.
We've all been there because I had a situation similar to that. Oh my God. That's what's so funny. I'm listening to you guys and it's like, I think we all have that in common.
The most inconvenient time.
Yes. Oh my God.
All right. Well, you guys, thank you. We'll come back next week with another topic. I appreciate you guys.
Okay.
Bye. Appreciate you too.
I'm going to get this out to you. Thank you again for your valuable input. I enjoyed it.
Absolutely. You're welcome. You're welcome. Bye, Jason.
Bye. Jason says bye.